Welcome to the Nerds Who Swing podcast.
Welcome to the Nerds Who Swing podcast. My name is Miller.
Margot.
You can find us everywhere where you would find a normal podcast.
Search Nerds Who Swing on
Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Pinterest. You can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on YouTube.
We are so many places.
Or even on iTunes. That's probably where you found this one. And then the most important one is you can find us on patreon.com, where if you want to just give us $1 or $2 to help just pay for hosting our website and our podcast.
Oh, that would be so nice of people.
I know,
Can you
right?
imagine if they did that?
There might even be bonuses eventually.
Bonuses?
Yeah.
Sexy bonuses?
No, lame bonuses.
Oh,
you
good.
could do our taxes.
Lame bonuses. Bonuses including.
That's right. And then you can also, we have a contest with every episode where if you want to be in our logo.
Yeah. Did you see our logo? Can you see it? Pull it up. Do you see our super sexy logo?
That's right.
Is it me right now?
It is right now.
It's me right now. That's me, folks. But maybe that could be you.
That's right.
Which would be super hot.
Send us your picture.
Send us a picture.
Any one of these.
No faces?
No faces.
No faces. Not that your face isn't sexy, but, other sexy business.
Also, no penises unless there's also a vagina there.
Because who wants a penis?
Yeah. Just saying. Yeah, as 50% of the vote, I'm not voting for that. Yeah.
Anyway, send us in your pictures if you want to.
You can be the background of the Nerds Who Swing logo.
Can you imagine your body, your sexy butt as the background of our logo?
Damn, Margot.
So hot.
Yeah. Anyway.
I like it. Okay, we're Nerds Who Swing.
That's right. Margot, Miller, enjoy the episode.
The Wiener Podcast?
No, the chat with all the dicks on
Welcome
it
to the
now.
Wiener Podcast with Margot and Miller, where we review wieners.
No, don't do that. We'll get so many wiener pictures.
No, I know. Welcome to
fine.
the Boobs Who Swing.
That would be okay.
Yeah.
We get a sufficient amount of
I know.
of both, actually.
We do.
Actually, as a side note, I'm pretty, super impressed with our listeners.
Yeah.
For sending in stuff. We have a different picture every week, and we have several to choose from every week, and I think that is freaking awesome.
I agree. I think it's
I thought for sure that every other week would have to be me, because nobody was sending anything in, because we had, one person listening.
Yeah.
But,
some weeks we'd have to make it look like me, where I'm
can I take this from Google Images? Is
I know.
Wrong? But
and
we have tons of awesome.
We do.
All those kick-ass pictures that you guys have seen are all our
you know what?
listeners.
We still have others
awesome.
that I haven't even got to use yet that people have submitted.
That's awesome.
It's pretty awesome. Our listeners are, first of all, our listeners are sexy. Second of all, our listeners are awesome for sharing their sexy pictures.
They really are.
Third of all, they should send more sexy pictures.
Sure.
Fourth of all, they should let me touch their boobs that they're sending in.
Touch the boobs that they're sending in? Sure, that seems...
I think we should do a March Madness for boobs.
Oh, interesting.
But where I'm the judge of all the boobs.
And it's by feel only.
Well, that's the only way. They're going to have to travel to Canada, just like other teams have to travel to different states or whatever to make that happen. Yeah, so they're going to have to come to Western Canada.
Oh.
Yeah, where
narrowed down.
Miller, I think we've said that before.
Sure.
We've had people figure out where we live.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one of those things where if you're from our city,
you know
exactly where we live.
You hear the glory hole story and everybody's like, I got you pegged, buddy.
Oh yeah, the steps down to the place? Yep. Oh yeah, we've been there, yeah.
Yep.
The TV show, the screen where they play
did
the
they
Crow.
Have old cheese and crackers?
Yeah.
How old were the cheese and crackers?
The guy with the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody's
the rooms
boom,
with the
I can tell you
big
what
bed,
address that is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But if you're not from, then you're just
no,
you
you're
sound Canadian. We have people say that we sound Canadian, which is so funny to me.
I know, because I don't think.
Fine. It's
well,
just
I'm
funny.
pretty insulted.
No, Canadians are great.
I declare podcast war on all those who deem us as...
No, I don't want to sound anything else. It's not a problem.
I don't either.
It's just funny to me. As a Canadian, I very much feel like I don't sound like anything.
I agree, because I
mean, I realize I don't sound English or South African.
No, I guess I feel like
I don't feel like I have an accent of any sort.
But we don't have American accents either necessarily. Like there are certain parts of America
Like
where you can
Southern
have
or
like a pretty
something.
strong accent, or like Texas.
Well, that's South. That's
Yeah, but
literally
it's
what
not.
I
I was
just meant.
thinking more Southern, not Texan. Like those are two different types of accents.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like we
I said
align.
any
I feel like the
Southern,
whole
but
West
sure.
Coast, from like Western Canada down to California,
sound the same.
sound the same. Maybe I'm wrong. Where they're like,
I
dude,
don't know.
don't
Like, you
break
think you
your
sound
arm
like
thinking
you're
you're
from
from
California?
yeah, from California.
Fuck you,
Yeah,
buddy.
you're not from California.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
What about it,
know.
man? You want to go surfing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, but I will say that we're not from Toronto,
We're not.
and I feel like people from Toronto sound, air quotes, Canadian. Like
Yeah,
the
I think the Canadian accent, like,
people think
almost like the
where they
Fargo
hear it
accent,
from a mile away, and
where
they're
you're
like,
like,
"Oh my gosh,
yeah.
they're from Canada."
Oh yeah,
They-
don't you know?
Yeah,
like that's like
that's
Toronto,
Toronto.
like
That's
Minnesota,
not
and
us.
like yeah,
Yeah,
Fargo.
the aboot thing.
Yeah.
Which is actually, it's not really a boot. They say like about, like it's
Well,
about.
yeah.
They say it really wide. It's
Yeah.
weird. I don't know. I don't say it like that. But anyways, they're on
You're
like
gonna say it like that
HGTV.
accidentally for the rest of this episode.
No,
and people are
on
gonna be like, you
HGTV.
sound just like that,
She
Mario.
said it like that, and she's from Toronto. And I went, oh.
What show
I
were
thought
you
that's
talking
where
about
it
on
was.
HGTV?
Oh, like it was a long time ago.
Oh, like a couple years ago.
Sarah Richardson.
Oh, I don't know who
She's
that
from
is.
Toronto, and she sounds like that. And then that was the first time I heard it, and I was like, oh, that is what people think we sound like.
Yeah.
And I don't sound anything like you, even though we're from the same country, which is fine.
Yeah.
Our country is huge.
I mean, it doesn't
People sound
help that
different.
most
It's okay.
Canadian like entertainment is
It's from
garbage
Toronto.
and garbage.
Oh,
Most of it is garbage.
okay.
Like
I was going
it's
a
from
different way.
Toronto or shittily made in Toronto or in Vancouver, but like
Not now. I think Canadian CanCon is getting
CanCon?
much better. Canadian content's getting better.
okay, I'm gonna
This
throw it
is
out there.
not a swinger related
I know it's
topic.
yeah, it's Canadian swinger. Name some CanCon that's recent.
I just mean they film a lot more things. In
Oh, they
Canada
do
than
film
they used
tons
to.
of shit in like Vancouver, but that doesn't mean that it's CanCon though.
Oh,
It has to be like Canadian produced and
like
like
CBC.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's
or
garbage.
global or
No,
CTV.
people love some of those, like that Heartland show, horses. With the I don't know what
People
it is.
like horses.
People like that
Yeah.
show. People travel to the city where that is filmed because it's
Yeah,
like
but
a
that's like a
thing.
filming location. That's like saying the Game of Thrones is like Iceland Con. Like
No, I think it's a CBC show. That's what I'm saying.
Game of Thrones.
No, no, like
Oh, the
Heartland
quaint little
and,
Canadian show known as Game of Thrones.
You know
yeah.
nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah, no, you know nothing, Jon Snow, eh?
No
yeah,
way.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but like there are Canadian shows that people love and
Yeah.
they travel to where they're filmed.
Who does that?
I don't know people.
Okay, if you're a listener of Nerds Who Swing and you listen to Canadian or you watch Canadian shows,
Yeah, like
which
corner
ones
gas
do you
is your
like?
Jam, like
Yeah,
like,
you're like, I love
swing.
swinging and corner gas.
Those are my two
Those are
favorite
two
things.
things.
I like to swing while I watch
Yeah,
corner
I would
gas.
love if you did an episode where you merged the two together. Yeah,
I've never seen an episode of that, so that'd be hard to do.
yeah.
But
Corner gassers
think-
who swing.
I don't know, but there seems to be a Canadian accent that people think that we have, and
Yeah.
I understand that we sound a certain way to people, and that's really
Right.
fine. But like, if you're from Newfoundland, or you're from Vancouver, or
Yeah.
you're from Toronto, or you're from Saskatchewan,
Mm.
those are four super different sounding
Yeah.
people.
They're super different sounding.
Yeah.
Yeah, super.
So that's all.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
anyways,
Yeah.
just like in like the States, like people sound different if they're
Yeah.
from different areas.
Yeah.
We're big countries, so we have a diverse.
Yeah, it's not like
group
it's
of
a.
people.
I mean, we have a ridiculous landmass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
landmass.
massive. I got such a big landmass, you don't even know.
You have the
So
best
big.
landmass of all the
Everybody
landmasses.
says I have the best landmass. Yeah, it's so big. Just wait till I whip my landmass out later.
Oh
You'll
boy.
be like,
Swamp.
yeah. You'll
That's
be like,
the sound
that's
it
it.
makes. Swamp.
That's your border circumference. It's pretty lame.
We're supposed to
Anyways.
be answering questions.
Yeah. Okay.
Instead
Pull
we
up the
went on a
questions here.
CanCon and
Yeah, you know, I saw
accent
that
jump.
sounded. You know, hey,
Yeah, wow.
I saw a review of our show, and they said that in
Go
one
back to your regular
episode,
voice.
they said in one episode that we spent like 10 minutes like blabbering about something like that didn't matter, and then we got to it, and And I was like,
yeah, that tracks.
I was like, yep, that's like every episode. Can't get mad about that. Moving on.
Like it was a negative thing? Like they were like, get to the fucking point.
They said they listened to 2 episodes or something, and one was like that we'd like right on topic, and then one was like we blabbered on for 10 minutes.
What was our topic? What did we?
I don't know.
About?
I don't know.
Were they complaining or were they just?
They
like,
said it was a negative thing, and I was like,
you never tell me negative stuff.
I just saw that the other day. We don't really get any negative things. Nerds unite. I will give you his name, and you will hunt it. It's like a nerd. A nerd can give me 3 names, and I will make them disappear. Give me their name. Yeah. You say their name, and they will.
Maybe you could have edited it down a little bit because we do tend to. Chat
I know, but sometimes. I mean,
I would like to know what it was about.
They didn't say the podcast name, like
We're
the episode.
Nerds, guys. Like, was that not clear from the title?
Yeah,
we talk about shit that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
To other people.
We get off topic.
But it matters to us because we're nerds.
Yeah, I'm not going to apologize for who we are, and if we blabber about Galactica for like 10 minutes or whatever, it's like you're listening to the wrong podcast. Yeah, if you don't like nerd stuff and dick jokes, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, we talk about sex stuff within the frame of nerddom.
Yeah.
And if that's not your jam, then I kind of wonder why you found us.
Why are you listening to us?
Yeah, that's true.
In a way. Like, not in a mean way, but kind of in a mean way.
No, not in a mean way, but just like everything isn't for everyone, and that's okay. People hear a song and they don't love it, and that's fine. They don't make the song bad. It's totally fine. Everybody to each their own. It's all good.
I don't really like corner
Peace
gas.
and love,
I'm just going to put it out there.
Love.
I don't like corner gas.
Oh.
I'm not a fan of corner gas. It's a sin in Canada.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't like
the corner gas lobby is going to be at our door any moment.
I know. Yeah. Shutting us down.
Yeah.
CanCon can't fight CanCon.
You know what? I don't even know that show enough to make a joke.
I don't either.
To be like the guy and then character it is. I don't even know it.
I don't know it at all. I've watched like one episode.
You should cut this down because the person who is like, you blather on about stupid shit. There's gonna be 100 more people who be like, that dude is right.
But I feel like we should, if he said 10 minutes, this episode, we should do a whole episode where we don't even talk about swinging at all, and in the last like 10 seconds, we'll just be like, oh yeah, and we swing. Yeah, moving on. See you next week, eh?
Also, this one time, I was holding this girl, and you,
exactly,
just like one really sexy like element at the very end.
At the very end of the show.
Yeah,
I feel like we should try to do that.
Just for them.
Just for this. We'll this episode is in spite of that one person.
Hashtag spite content. Spite podcast.
Yeah. This episode is called,
because that's how we want to run our lives.
The revenge.
Doing things
the revenge episode,
that's right,
The payback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I actually think it's fine.
It's been 11 minutes, I think. So
totally
it's like we can move on now. But,
it's a free podcast. People can love it and people can hate it, and that is literally it is 100% okay with me. It's fine. It's funny to me to put a sort of negative comment into the world because I don't. I try not to function that way because it's like if it's not my thing, then I'll just like move on to another thing.
I agree
because I don't really feel like.
Well, what's the point of saying something negative about it?
My negative feelings, like why?
I feel like it should be more like positive things where it's like, listen, they're a mid-30s couple who have kids who like to be silly on their podcast, get sidetracked, and talk about nerdy things while also talking about tons of swinger related topics.
Right.
It's like if that's not what you like, I don't really want you listening. Not in a mean way, but it's like you're not going to enjoy it.
That's probably true.
Like,
not in a mean.
No, I don't mean it in a mean way. Like a little bit.
Okay,
fuck off.
Maybe you mean that a little
I
bit.
mean it. You don't. You could be the one who doesn't. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't. I really don't. I
really don't either. When I read it, I was like, well, that's like, why bother saying that?
Yeah, that's. I guess
because it's like you just don't have to listen.
I just don't like to put sort of negativity into.
I don't either, and it's like why bother putting that out there of like that there could like again. I don't care because really that might be the first negative thing I've seen about our podcast.
Did they literally say they blathered on?
I know. I think that was my words. I'm sure it was like they didn't get to the swinging talk for like 10 minutes. Like they were probably nicer than what I'm saying.
Okay.
But they said something about us not talking about the topic for like 10 minutes or something like that. Like it took so long to get to the point of the episode.
But I
wait till you get to the point of this episode, buddy.
Which has none.
Yeah. So far we have nothing. We're just talking. Yeah.
I feel like we get overwhelmingly tons of comments about like we love your banter and how you guys talk to each other, which I feel like Really? Because we talk like this to each other all the time, and I don't know that either one of us appreciates it all the time. But okie dokie, like, thanks.
Oh God, her banter is so.
He's doing more banter, you guys.
He keeps doing the Canadian accent.
But like, that's so nice and sweet and lovely that people like that. And
but
I think that's what people
so many swingers are
like
that. The people that we've met in the lifestyle are overly like.
Overwhelmingly nice.
Overwhelmingly nice. I don't mean overwhelming like in a negative way, but like in positive way that everybody is like awesome.
So nice.
And supportive and like.
Definitely.
I don't know, like.
Yeah. And
not just listeners to the podcast, but just people we've
negativity.
met. Everybody is like awesome and not looking for negativity. Yeah. And just looking for the positive in things.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like if somebody is too negative, it's like.
It's okay. They're just not my people.
They just don't.
They're just not my people. Yeah. There are lots of negative people that exist, and that's fine.
We know lots of them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to be one. Yeah. And I don't really need the influence in our like lives. Yeah. And that's fine. But that's not to say like a constructive criticism like the audio was shitty or something like that.
Yeah, because we did have
cool,
our audio has gotten better. I feel like as we've gone on.
Yeah.
Every time we recorded, I've been tweaking our settings or changing our microphones. It's just
kind of like, okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
See you later.
Fuck off.
No, but like I'm
just kidding.
I'm kind of me. Like, there's a specific thing you think I should work on, like, and you're like a loved one. Well, we can talk about that. But if you're a stranger and you just
listening to our free
decided
show
I talk too much about stuff, it's like, dude, you have no idea.
Yeah.
I talk too much about everything.
Yeah, especially because like there are other lifestyle podcasts you can listen to.
You've told me that some get a little more sort of to the
some get to the
sexy
point
stuff of like, and then I did this, and then he did this, and stuff.
Maybe that's something we should throw to our listeners, where it's like, what parts of our show do you like the best? Do you like when we go into the sexy, dirty parts?
Probably.
Do you like when we kind of talk about more of the like the real life portions of it,
right?
Where it's like we're parents who are trying to do this, like trying to fit it in. Like, do you like hearing more about that portion of it?
The comments we get are much more like that, much more real life, and much more questions. We get so many questions, which I love, by the way.
Yeah,
keep it up.
Me too.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But I don't. I guess I have at least maybe I just haven't heard as much feedback about the tell me more about your specific experiences and like actual like play by play of sexual experiences.
Right.
I think that's cool. Like that's fine if people want to know more about that.
Yeah.
That's interesting, and we have talked about that some. But I mean, there is a certain amount of like privacy, and there's lots of stories we haven't told.
Sometimes we've just said like
reasons.
We have done this, but not specifically like in details about it.
People don't want to be talked about, and that is 100% okay. And I will never betray that. Yeah. So if that means we don't get to tell a super hot story, we don't get to tell that super hot story because they don't want to talk to.
But I guess if people want that more, we can try try to make that happen more.
That's interesting.
But if you're like, listen, Miller, you're not hot when you tell us these stories. We don't like hearing them through your Canadian accent. If you know what, if Margot could just do those episodes by herself, that would be great.
No, that's not what people think.
Maybe.
No.
Yeah. Anyways.
So that was what are we talking about?
Okay, you want to have a question? Kind of it's been like 20 minutes. We should probably have some sort of like topic for this show.
Right.
Okay. Let's see.
We don't even have to use that. Doesn't matter.
Hey, love the podcast. How prevalent is anal sex in the lifestyle? I'm really into it, but my husband isn't. How does one bring this up? How common is it? And that's from Mrs. Deadpool.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Great question.
What's her name from Deadpool?
Good for you for owning your what you like.
Yeah.
Well done. I don't remember her name.
From Firefly. Nara? Is it Nara or Inara?
Inara in Firefly, but I don't remember her name in Deadpool. But anyways.
Yeah. Anyways. Good question.
Yeah.
So first of all, the first part is how prevalent.
Prevalent is anal? Honestly, I would say not very.
I would say it depends on the situation, probably, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's like the first time you meet somebody, you're probably not going to do that the first time you meet somebody,
right?
Because you just don't know them as well. You know, like
maybe not very is not the right way to say it. I guess it depends if you're the type of couple who makes friends with other couples and you play with those same couples or
right. Are you going
for
like the long-term relationship with
right, where you
with
play,
people you've
you
met?
have a group that you play or a few people that you play with over and over again? Then I think absolutely go ask for what you want.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, well at that point, like even if you're playing with somebody for like the second time, you can be like, "Hey, I like this." Or if they ask you like, "Hey, is there anything you want to do?" You can be like,
"I want this.
I would like to try this."
Yeah.
I think at that point, if somebody asks you what you want to try or something or what you're into, just say it. Like nobody's going to judge you.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Like don't be if you're at that point where somebody asks you that, don't be shy with what you're like, because they're legitimately asking. Yeah. They're not asking so you'll be like, missionary.
Missionary for 5 minutes and we both fall asleep watching John Oliver.
Yeah. Wait. Whoa. Welcome to this conversation that just got way too real. Yeah.
Well, that's what you always see in movies, right? Is like people do it in Missionary and like the commercial.
Why did you have to drag John Oliver to this?
Because he's my favorite late night show guy.
Okay. All right.
But we watch that show.
Yeah, we do.
That show is like church.
I know.
That show is not.
I learned about gerrymandering from that show.
Obsessed with. I think it's great that she knows what she likes.
Right.
Way to go.
Yeah.
And that is quite literally a feat in itself to figure out what you like, not what you like because your partner likes it, not what you like because you're supposed to like it,
just what you like or whatever
is represented in porn or not whatever, but you legit like it. So I think that's awesome.
I agree. I also think it's awesome
winning this whole thing.
It's also awesome that she knows the husband isn't into it.
Yeah, they've had
a conversation and he's been like, I'm not really into that.
Yeah. So
like good on him for not just being like, I'll do it because you like it. Because sometimes things could be like, I'm not overly into it, but you're into it. So it's like we will like it's not that just because you're not overly into it doesn't mean you're not into it in that moment or whatever.
Yeah. Or
but it's like I'm not going to suggest it, but if you suggest it, I am 100% with that if you like it. So that's cool that like they have had that conversation.
Way to go, guys.
And she likes it.
Mr. and Mrs. Deadpool.
Deadpool doesn't like it. He's like, I'm not really into that. Only on International Women's Appreciation Day.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, I would say I don't want to say it's like 100% cool. Just ask for it.
Yeah.
Only because I don't want to like.
Right, because you don't want to be like, yes, it'll 100% happen if you ask for it.
I think if you're at like a hotel party or something like that where you're probably meeting people for the first time and then playing with them like quite quickly after meeting them, or maybe you haven't had a lot of like talks, you haven't played several times, it might be a pretty big surprise to some people, only because
if you're just throwing it out there quick,
I haven't
like,
really heard it requested or that very much.
Right.
That's not to say it wouldn't be a welcome addition to a lot of people's sexual experience. I'm sure it would be, but I would say for sure if you have people that you're comfortable playing with and you've played with them before, ask for what you want.
Sure.
There will be people who want to do that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's right.
I just think it's sort of like any specific request where
it could be anything.
I don't think anybody's going to be like, ew, no.
No, but they might just be like, I'm not really into that, but
or something like that. Then that's fair. I mean, obviously, like she and her husband have talked about it, and he's not overly into it. That's not it's not a fault or a problem of his. It's just not a preference.
I also feel though, if somebody asks you, like, is there something you want to do?
They're probably
willing to do whatever you want.
That's a good point.
You know, like
they're not going to ask, like, what position do you want? Right,
So, like, if whatever position you said...
It's probably on the
if they're not going to be like, whoa, missionary.
Yeah.
Like, that's... No, ew.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
That's
true.
So I feel like if somebody
that
asks...
was not what I meant! Oh my God!
Yeah.
That's true.
So if somebody asks you if there's something you want to try... or do,
they're probably pretty open.
They're pretty open to whatever.
Yeah.
So give it a shot.
I think so.
What's the worst they can say is they'll be like, I'm not super into that, and then they'll be like, is there something else you want to try?
Yeah.
And you go to your
backup.
And
I also think if it not just an anal related question, but if there is something that you want and you're in a position to ask for it, and the request is not like met with yay,
like
it's more
enthusiasm
like,
or whatever.
I don't know. That's not a reflection on you and what you
don't
like.
take it personally. People like what they like by themselves, and it has no reflection on you as a person.
Yeah.
So, I agree. If somebody says, like,
it
I'm not really into
weird
it, just like something. This. But she must be pretty understanding if she's cool with her husband not being into it.
I just mean going beyond, whatever the thing is that you like, and her included.
Yeah.
If you say, I would like to do this, and the dude that you're with is like, no thanks.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather do this or something.
Yeah.
That doesn't make your request bad or weird. It just makes it not in his top couple things of what he wants to do. And if it's what you really want to do, go for it, right?
Yeah,
like
totally.
You don't. It's back and forth.
Yeah.
If you want to do something and the person you're with is like, no thanks, let's do this instead, but you don't want to do that thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that thing. You don't have to do the replacement thing for the thing you actually want to do.
Exactly.
It's as long as everyone is happy and enjoying themselves, great. And I'm very, very sure that she will find happily willing, excited participants in this activity.
Absolutely.
Because I don't want to overgeneralize.
No.
But I think it's going to be enjoyed by some dudes. I do.
If you live in Western Canada.
Okay.
If you need somebody, just let us know. Yeah.
Miller's on board. Yeah. That's what he's saying.
Just like if you're into that, just send Miller a message.
Like, take a flight, like, whatever you got to do.
Miller,
He's there for you.
Take a flight.
Yeah.
Book a hotel.
Yeah. You'll show up.
I'll show up and we'll make it happen.
Do what needs to happen and then leave.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I'm doing it for our listeners.
Oh, you're so sweet.
It's not for me.
Right.
It's very not for me. I do it for the betterment of this lifestyle community. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
You're just so so.
I'm like wonderful. A philanthropist.
Yeah.
Is that
anal
word?
philanthropist.
I'm an anal philanthropist.
You're the only one. You don't say it.
I should get a card, like
Tobias.
Tobias.
An analropist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think.
It's not the way you think that turns me on. The last thing I wanna do is listen to you talk. I don't wanna know what you're about. I just want your dirty little mind and your dirty little mouth.
I don't think it's super prevalent in the lifestyle that I have seen, but not in a way that it would be like bad or ridiculed.
No,
only in the way that I think it just tends not to be a thing you do or ask for the first time. And so many lifestyle experiences, depending where you are, is
it could be a first time.
It could be a one time or a first time thing. That's all. But if you're the type to to meet with people multiple times, then absolutely. Then it's not overly different from asking your partner from something, really.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it is.
And these people you're asking aren't even your partners. Who cares if they say no? Like,
it's true. Like, I'm not into, exactly. I'm not into that, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. There you go.
Cool. And